Welcome to another presentation at the East Trade Winds, a chapter of the World Referral Network, hosted by Bernie Franz-Grote and Wayne Pratt. The presentation today is titled Creating Inclusive Digital Experiences. Our guest is Trevor Gibbs from The Web Detective. Is your website accessible to everyone? Trevor solves digital accessibility and compliance challenges, helping businesses and nonprofits avoid costly legal issues. With over 24 years of experience, Trevor began in traditional marketing, focusing on online databases for nonprofits, enhancing donor relationships, and increasing contributions. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he expanded his services to include ADA website compliance, a crucial step for businesses aiming to be inclusive and legally secure. He even protected a nonprofit client from an ADA lawsuit, guiding them through important but often overlooked compliance steps. Today, as the founder of The Web Detective, Trevor supports brands with powerful digital tools, digital business pages, online reputation management, local authority boosts, knowledge panels, mobile apps, and dynamic digital marketing strategies. His mission? To help businesses stand out, expand their reach, and build loyal customer relationships through accessible, compliant, and impactful digital assets. Engage with Trevor's insights to protect and grow your brand.
I am the web detective, also known as Trevor Gibbs. I am originally from the UK, as you can tell by my wonderful accent. I've been fortunate to have lived in Brazil, married a Brazilian lady 20 years ago, and moved to Orlando in 2014, and that's where I set up my marketing business. I've been in marketing since 2000. I'm an accessibility specialist, and I actually started my company in the US in 2015, but I've been running my own marketing companies since 2004. So what do I do? I actually look to see if you have a digital thumbprint. And basically that is just a very good way to see, do you have an online presence? So I'm really going to see, do you have a website or maybe a landing page? And this is the one place where most people are going to check you out online. And as I said, it should be the one asset you own, because if you rely on social media channels, you can get into hot water very quickly. You can say things that people don't like and they can take down your account and you're left voiceless. And that's the worst thing to be when you're online, is being voiceless, not alone visionless. So one of the things that you may come across about website compliance, I talk about data privacy, very hot in California, and various other states are also now bringing in their data privacy rules. It is also an international thing. What can you avoid by sharing data with people? And a lot of people say they don't share data, but actually, yes, you do. And I may get into a little bit of that a little bit later. So what does the investigation look like? We're actually going to know that it doesn't matter what you say. People are always going to Google check you. And when they search you online, they're really looking to see how transparent you are. What is it that your company tells them before they actually engage with you, the person? And even if they've engaged with you, they're still actually going to double check with Google as the biggest search engine out there. And it's the one that provides most of the answers. And if most of those answers are social media, I know I think that social media only tells people that you've already interacted that you're still alive. It doesn't tell them much about your authenticity, the expert, or about your business and why people would like and trust you. So why am I going to talk about accessibility in today's bustling digital marketplace? The allure of a website and accessibility extends way beyond the legal confines of the age. And at the end of the day, it's about how you engage with a group of people that I feel are often left out, often forgot. They are not voiceless. They will certainly give you a presence if you actually engage and make them inclusive. One of those stats is that roughly 1 in 4 people are ignored when they're overlooked in about accessibility. So if you're not optimizing your digital space, what you're actually doing is you're leaving money on the table. I don't want to tell you too much about the legal aspects, but I will mention that very quickly for you, because at the end of the day, you should be expanding your presence to your customers. You should enhance those users when they come to your website. And of course, if you've got any legal issues, that could end up by ruining your reputation. And of course, at the end of the day, it could impact your financial position of your company. You're looking for a positive brand image because really to have people saying good things about you. So why should you care? How does it impact your business? As I said, lawyers and ambulance chasers will target a business if they find your website not accessible. They're obviously going to encourage you to settle out of court because that's the easiest way for them to make money. And of course, if you're using things such as Google reviews, it's a good place for them to write something bad about you. And trying to get rid of that can often be quite detrimental and time consuming to you and your business. Some of the ways that is done, you may get a demand letter from a lawyer, and it has been estimated through accessibility.com. They've anticipated that 265,000 letters were sent out to businesses across the US last year. So it's not something to be think that it's never going to happen to me. It will at some point, and it depends on the type of business or who's actually more active searching for your type of business or your type of service. So when it comes down to legal aspects, who is going to govern this? Obviously, states and the government will. As I said, accessibility lawyers are there to either protect you, some are actually out there to persecute you. And of course, the Department of Justice actually write articles stating the rules and regulations. And if you haven't heard of it, the American Disability Act, which is about 30 years old now, has been in place so that you don't actually prevent people from having equal inclusion, because at the end of the day, it's that inclusion that's what matters. So why should you care? People with disabilities have a voice. And what we're going to say about that, like I said, 61 people in the US have some form of disability. While this number grows, we also have to consider those with temporary disabilities, those who might be suffering from a sports injury, those that may actually have migraines, could actually have some old age people who are suffering with Parkinson's, or we could actually have people that have cataracts. These are temporary things which can actually impact the way they will be engaged with your website. Fun fact, did you know that people with disabilities spend over $480 billion a year online searching for products and services? It's your reputation that matters. And because of that, why would you want to have your reputation damaged? Because at the end of the day, it's the one thing that people are going to look for, basically online, to see, are you the authority that you claim to be? You want to be driving a positive brand image. And how do you do that? If you're addressing the concerns of everybody who comes to your website by being inclusive, you're actually making an overall better user experience. And it doesn't matter just for people with disabilities, it's a matter for everybody. A well-designed website will actually make things easier for people to spend time on your website. And time is a key word here, because anybody that knows marketing and thinks about how you get ranking, that is all measured by time. Google ranks how long people stay on your website. You have analytics, you're checking how long people stand on your website. And obviously, if they're leaving quickly, could be because you've got a poor design, might be because it's inaccessible, especially if people are using a screen reader. So what kind of impact is this going to have upon your business? Well, as a business owner, the impact is basically because of the time spent on that website. You can actually have better SEO ranking, because if your website's accessible, Google actually recognizes this and actually going to rank your website a little easier and a little better. Everybody enjoys looking at a nice designed website. If you're looking at great big blocks of text, nobody wants to read anything. They just want short, quick, simple answers. And that is how your website really should be engaging people. Give them a lot of information very quickly. And of course, that will actually improve the flow of information that you have being presented to your readers, your visitors to your website. I would also like to mention that the government can reward your business. If you trade of profit less than $1 million a year, you can get half of what you spend on accessibility back. There are also grants available for companies to have their website that is accessible. So can anybody make a website accessible? Yes, if you like to learn how to code or understand the WCAG guidelines, or even if you think about all the different ways and the different disabilities there are, it's not going to be easy. So I would say, no, it's not the easiest way to actually make your website accessible. But today, here are a couple of things that you can actually look at just to tweak your website to start the accessibility and growing that audience to spend longer on your website. So topography. What do we mean about topography? Basically, look at the ways by using certain fonts. Use a sans serif font. Arial Tahoma is one of my favorites. And also consider the size. A font size of 12 is standard. That should be a minimum, or 16 pixels if you're actually working in pixels. Avoid those fonts that have a script or a cursive style. Also avoid writing it in a smaller font and in blocks. That doesn't help. And if you're really conscious, for people with dyslexia, there are certain fonts which have a dyslexia font on them. So consider that. Alternative text, you may have heard of this. What is it? If you have an image on your website, the last thing you want to read is image.1 JPEG. Quite often people come with screen readers, or maybe they actually have the images turned off. And if they want to know what that image is, why? Well, image one doesn't tell them anything. But if you put in the alt text, like in this case here, a smiling customer holding a shopping basket in a grocery store, it clearly identifies what it is. You don't have to see the image to know what the image is about. These alt texts can actually help again with SEO rankings if done correctly. You can't stuff alt text with keywords, which I know some web developers do, because Google today has now realized stuffing keywords into alt text isn't a good thing. So they're just going to penalize you and not actually rank that page at all. So what else? Color contrast, very important. Why? Well, because at the end of the day, those contrasts will actually determine how well you can see the context on it. You can go from very dark colors, brighter colors. And as you progress through this, what happens? There is a way that you can test. There are color tools online where you can actually look to see whether that standard meets 4.5:1, or ideally, if you can get up to 10, 12, that's even ideal. You don't have to use bright contrasting colors. As you can see here, there are a lot of colors that are pastel, and they will actually convey your message in a nice, clear way. If you want to do this yourself, I said you can. You can have that. There is a simple solution. It's a simple toolbox. And as you can see here, you can actually add a very simple menu onto your website. This tool actually allows for multiple disabilities and different ways for you to change color, change the brightness, change font sizes. By having that tool, it's just one of the first steps to have a full accessible website. Did you detect that we had some colors here on the presentation that wasn't accessible? Somewhere in those slides, you may have seen some green and yellow text. It was only 2.1. And yes, if you did spot it, it was right at the very beginning. This was a non-compliant color castering slide. So I thought you might like to see how it might appear to be visible, but to everybody it wasn't. So 3 steps to be more accessible. Look at your local state laws, get a free web audit, and schedule a consultancy. And to do that, you can actually use one of these QR codes to scan for a free website or contact myself. Thank you very much for your time.
Unlock the full potential of networking with East Trade Winds. Are you eager to connect with our esteemed guest speaker and delve deeper into the ever-expanding universe of connections? Simply scan the QR code now and embark on a journey of endless opportunities. Join us at East Trade Winds, where we gather online every Tuesday from 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, you're welcome to connect with us. Seize the moment, register for free, and start exploring today. Fancy sharing your insights as a guest speaker? We're looking for you. Reach out to Wayne Pratt to ignite your speaking journey. Email him at motivateyou.ca or connect with Wayne on LinkedIn. Don't wait, take action, and be a part of a global community that's shaping the future of business networking.